Kinji Hakari took the internet by storm following his introduction and the Hakari dance, but he was beloved to us JJK fans long before that. Hakari was foreshadowed as this super powerful outlaw type character, even being said to be able to keep up with Yuta if he really wanted to. This guy's absolutely electric and genuinely one of the coolest characters that we've ever seen in any anime ever. So let's get into the complete story of Kinji Hakari. The first mention we get of Hakari is in chapter 146 when Yuta says that Hakari is a suspended third-year student that can actually get stronger than he is when he gets worked up. Now this is already setting huge expectations for us as the fans, and I can honestly say that he pretty much met those expectations. When we first actually meet Hakari, he's running an underground fight club with mostly non-sorcerers in attendance, which is highly illegal for sorcerers to take part in. So that whole outlaw shtick that we talked about was kind of lived up to. That's not the only rebellious thing Hakari does though. He absolutely hates the higher ups in the Jujutsu Society. This is partially because they kinda hated him first. They hated him because he had a progressive curse technique. These higher ups absolutely hate when technology is integrated into curse techniques, so his technique, Private Pure Love Train, was not their favorite at all. He fought them on this and he ended up suspended from Jujutsu High and running a fight club. Then we get to see Yuji and Megumi come to try to meet him and recruit him to the culling game. This wasn't easy though. They kind of had to play his game and enter his fight club to get to him. Yuji enters in and randomly ends up fighting Panda because Panda's there for some reason, but Yuji put on such a show that Hakari gets excited. See, at the club, Hakari works as a bookie, which means he basically in charge of all the gambling. Now it's revealed that at this club there are scripted fights and unscripted fights, and these scripted fights are kind of, you know, rigged. Hakari likes Yuji so much that he's gonna try to rig a fight for him and, you know, make some money for him and his boys. Now when they meet, Hakari goes on and on about the fever in like a schizophrenic rant, which is basically just a way to justify his gambling. His exact words are, "I love the fever and the fever is gambling and gambling is life." Now I know a lot of you in the audience probably agree with that. Now after a while, Hakari finds out that Yuji's actually from Jujutsu High and he promptly attacks him. This scene is kind of reminiscent of Luffy and Bellamy when they meet for the first time. Yuji just kind of takes it. Now this is when we learn the first thing about Hakari's power. His cursed energy has an edge to it. Yuji says it feels like he's literally getting hit with a serrated bat. Like, think about the bat from The Walking Dead. That's what it feels like. Hakari gets impressed by Yuji's fever. Of course, that has to do with his philosophy and all that kind of stuff, talking about a cog in the machine. It's very convoluted, but not really at the same time. It's kind of just excitement to fight. Hakari just wants to fight. Anyway, he joins up with them and decides to fight with them in the culling game. Now, the fact that Hakari decides to join up is not a surprise at all to his romantic partner, Kirara. They say that his fever always burned the hottest when he was at Jujutsu High helping people. So maybe he doesn't want to just fight. He wants to help people. And we get to see this later on. He also has the ulterior motive of having Fushiguro's backup, you know, because Fushiguro is now the head of the Zenin clan, which is destroyed, but that's besides the point. He wants to change the Jujutsu Society and he thinks Megumi will help him with that, basically. Now, after it's all over, we never really see this pan out, probably because, you know, the ending was not very good. Maybe there'll be a sequel and we'll see some of it. Now Hakari enters the culling game as a player in Tokyo Colony number 2, and he has the goal of fighting Kashimo Hajime, who's an incarnated sorcerer with a lot of points. Well, instead he ends up fighting Charles Bernard, a failed French mangaka who accidentally became an awakened sorcerer. Hakari fights him and he shows off his domain expansion Idle Death Gamble for the first time. Now here's a guy whose favorite pastime is gambling, and his entire curse technique and domain expansion is based on a Japanese pachinko game, which for my fellow Americans is like a slot machine. Now I'm not even going to try to explain Private Pure Love Train to you because it's so wordy and convoluted, and there's rules here and there's rules there that it goes way over my head and I would end up crucified in my own comment section. But just know that the goal of the whole domain expansion and technique and everything is to get the jackpot, like any slot machine. Well, Hakari has incredible luck, as you might imagine. Hakari hits the jackpot, which is actually not a rare thing. We get to learn because of the luck conversion and the skill and everything that goes into that. It's really convoluted, like I said. Anyway, he off-screens Charles Bernard, and then he pulls up on Kashimo Hajime, who just got done filleting Panda. Like, it's a massacre. But he left him alive, luckily. Now, this ensuing fight is the one that got the attention of the masses. Everybody. TikTok, Instagram, everybody. Now, I just realized I never really explained what the jackpot does for Hakari. It basically grants him immortality for 4 minutes and 11 seconds. Now, more specifically, he gets unlimited curse energy as well as fully automatic reverse curse technique, which basically heals his body instantaneously, like all the time. That entire 4 minutes and 11 seconds. Oh yeah, and I didn't mention that he can constantly spam spam this domain expansion as long as he keeps hitting the jackpot. Now this just might be one of the most broken abilities in all of modern anime. I'm not even gonna lie about it. It literally continually boosts his probability to hit the jackpot, and once he hits the jackpot, he's invincible. And then he just hits the jackpot again. It's crazy. Anyway, he has an absolutely electric fight with Kashimo. See what I did there? Because Kashimo uses electrical powers, you know? Anyway, Hakari has several close calls in this fight. Kashimo hit Hakari as his jackpot ran out, which actually hurt him, but you know Hakari. He just hits another jackpot and instantly regains everything he lost. Kashimo even creates chlorine gas by using electrolysis on seawater, and he poisons Hakari, but, you know, jackpot bails him out again. Kashimo gives up because he doesn't want to use his actual curse technique on Hakari because he can only use it once, which is strange at first, but we later see what he's talking about. We learn that Kashimo's whole reason for fighting in the culling game was so that he can fight Sukuna because he wants a true fight and a true challenge. And whenever he uses his one curse technique, that's it, because I guess it kills him. We don't really know because he got off-screen by Sukuna. Anyway, Hakari convinces Kashimo to join them until he can fight Sukuna, which is fine by everybody because he's just more hands until he gets to fight Sukuna. Everybody's trying to kill Sukuna anyway. Then Hakari revisits Charles, the mangaka, who he didn't actually kill. He inspires Charles to actually write some manga, and he would be the first buyer. This guy's a gambler, outlaw, roughneck, whatever you want to call him, but he has a heart of gold. That's why I love him so much. Now we don't see him in any real capacity again until chapter 237, so a long time in the future. At this point, Kashimo takes on Sukuna and finishes his fight with Sukuna in a single chapter, and Hakari takes on Sukuna's underling, Uraume. Now we pretty much only see a couple panels from this fight every 8 or so chapters, and we really don't know anything about it, except for it's kind of like the fight against Kashimo. It's kind of just a deadlock until the end. Hakari pretty much just keeps spamming jackpot to contend with Uraume, so he just kind of distracts her from helping Sukuna, which is actually a good use of his powers. He is one of the strongest sorcerers and probably one of the only ones that could keep up with Uraume in this fight to keep, you know, her from helping Sukuna. I mean, it ends up all right. I would have loved to see Hakari take on Sukuna, like actually fight him, but I know that this fight against Uraume was necessary and it's going to be more fleshed out in the anime. They haven't said that, but they always flesh out everything better in the anime. This ending was kind of rushed anyway, so I'm just hyped for that. At the end of the fight, Uraume just kind of gives up and disappears into ice crystals in the air. I don't know if she's dead. I don't know if she just melted away. I don't know. The fight's over. This doesn't happen before she pays Hakari one final compliment though. She says that all of them just got lucky to beat Sukuna. Hakari takes this compliment as the ultimate praise. Having good luck is the best thing in the world to a gambler, and once a gambler, always a gambler. Now we see Hakari one more time holding back his partner Karara from stomping Ui because he was being a smart aleck, but that's it for our gambler. Kinji Hakari is a man who goes against the grain in everything that he does. With an unconventional curse technique and absolutely broken domain, he was destined for both greatness and to be an outcast, and he accomplished both. By the way, this man should easily be classified as a special grade sorcerer along with the likes of Gojo, Geto, Yuki, and Yuta. If we ever see the classifications return to JJK, you know, in part 2, because I think there's going to be a part 2. Maybe that's just me. Anyway, that's everything we know about Hakari, so you should probably learn everything about his mentor, Gojo, so check out this video linked on screen right here. It's going to tell you all about him. And until next time, peace.